What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Troxel Sports Talk. We are live for. Well, hold on. Let's let's cool ourselves down a little bit. Um, I am live with the Gridiron Blitz, and we have a special guest, Detroit Drew. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man?
What's up, Trav? What's up, Drew?
Man, sad news today, man. We lost an NBA legend. Uh, in Kobe Bryant and his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna Bryant.
Yeah, well, I let Drew go, man. Basically spent 2.5 hours balling, so I'm all puffy eyed and got a sore throat, man. But first of all, shout out to the people in the chat, man.
This is a sad day because even though Kobe was a basketball player, I know he grew up in Italy, and soccer was a very big part of his life. And soccer outside of the United States is one of the biggest sports around the world. He didn't just affect NBA fans. I mean, there's people who like all different types of sports who learned about basketball and what the NBA was in America and across the country, across the world. I'm sure if there's aliens, they know who Kobe Bryant is because that's the kind of impact that this guy had. And a lot of people found out what basketball was because of Kobe. I mean, growing up, throwing paper and trash cans, just yelling Kobe. I mean, that's just the kind of impact he had on the game. And the thing that's the saddest part about it is he's only been retired for a few years and was starting to do personal projects outside of basketball. He was on NBA 2K doing special commentary for the Lakers games on there. So I mean, he was doing a bunch of just different stuff outside of basketball. Um, and of course, his daughter was only 13, just learning how to play basketball. Kobe was taking her to Lakers games, showing them what to do and how to do it and what's the right play and just showing her all kinds of different moves and what he did and what's right, what's wrong. It's just one of the saddest days in NBA history and really in just part of history in general. I mean, this is just going to affect so many different people. His family the most, of course, but I mean, almost every single player in the league in the NBA right now looked up to Kobe, especially some of the younger guys who grew up idolizing him. I got to watch him and Shaq play in the Lakers. Shaq's my favorite player of all time. And I got to watch him play against the Pistons in the 2004 NBA Finals where my Pistons were victorious. But ever since then, just watching Kobe was an honor because of how good and how great he was. He's surely a top 5 player of all time. You can put him in top 3. It's debatable, but the guy is one of the best players to ever step foot on a court. He will be missed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Man, I can't even wrap my head around this whole thing. It's like, like for me, I grew up with first Michael Jordan, and then Kobe Bryant, who is the closest thing to one of Michael Jordan. Uh, and now to see one of them, pass away at such a young age, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. You know, him and I were pretty much the same age. I think he had me by a year. And to see somebody that you just saw, you know, he just tweeted, you just saw him on television. LeBron James passed him up, like you said last night. And Kobe came in the league when I was graduating high school, and he was, you know, so we probably he was 96, I was 97, and you know, as far as when it came to his Lakers, man, you know, I couldn't stand him because obviously Pistons, Lakers, things like that, and one of my memories of him, as I was saying on the stream, is during the '04 playoffs, man. Like if it was not for him, Pistons sweep that whole series. But I remember when I was like, you know, he was guarded and he still hit a spectacular shot. You know what I mean? But I think the biggest thing about this, guys, is how surreal this is. Like I just spent the last like 2 hours balling. Like seriously, man. And I think the correlation with me is that I feel so connected to him in age. I mean, we're pretty much right there. And like Drew was saying, got to watch him. You know what I'm saying? and for it to be just snatched out of you, and then these other people too. If I guess what is it, 9 people now that they found, as far as that was on this helicopter,
Yeah.
and that's tough, man. And him and his daughter had dreams of going to the NBA, and I literally have cried so much. Like I think I have like the happy endorphins now, man. Like the endorphins kicked in to combat the fact that I am just so sick right now. You know what I mean? It's a tough day, and it seemed like you were saying, Travis, it's surreal. It does not seem real. Even now, I'm checking to be like, bruh, is it still something out there we've missed? But it's sad, man. I don't know how much I can really talk about it because, like I said, man, I get emotional. But he will be missed, like Drew was saying, man. And condolences, man, to him, his family, and the other, people that was on the helicopter as well.
Absolutely. And shout out to what do you call it? The Toronto Raptors and San Antonio Spurs. Both of them first opening possession took a 24-second violation in honor of number 24, Kobe Bryant. They did that today, and I was like, that was a very big gesture that they could do for him. Obviously in honor for Kobe Bryant wearing the number 24. It took a 24-second violation. Uh, that it's just like, man, uh, and like you guys were hitting on, Kobe Bryant was a single person to will them in game two to beat the Pistons to avoid what would have been a potential 4-game sweep.
Okay.
That's a good thing to remember Kobe by if we're gonna talk about this tonight.
Yeah.
Is his Mamba mentality,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
they don't make him like that anymore. When you spend, what was it, 20, 21 seasons with one franchise in the NBA, I mean that's almost unheard of. I mean Michael Jordan, who I consider the GOAT, he didn't even do that. Towards the end of his career, he went to play in Washington. You don't see that kind of stuff. It could have been very easy for Kobe once they traded Shaq to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And in 2007, the Detroit Pistons and the Lakers agreed to trade Kobe here. I believe Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince and a first round draft pick was involved.
Yep.
But Kobe waived his no trade clause because he didn't want to play anywhere else. He wanted to start his career and end his career with the Lakers. And it's something you have to marvel at. And then eventually, I believe like '08 or '09, they went to the NBA Finals. And then they had a couple of good matchups with the Boston Celtics. You just that's why people love Kobe Bryant so much, is his competitiveness. And Mamba mentality is going to live on forever. I mean, that's what most people are going to remember Kobe by.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Michael Jordan to a lot of the generation, because Jordan was on his way out when Kobe was hitting his stride. So for people like me, 79, 78, I got to see Jordan, even though I was a little young, turning into a teenager and stuff like that. But I really got to see Kobe, him against the Suns, man, and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, you knew that this guy was going to get the ball. You knew he was going to score. I mean, you already knew. But the thing is, like, the mentality, man, he couldn't be stopped, bro. He couldn't be stopped. I did see something that I want to address. AT, I don't know what he talking about, but shout out to AT. He said, wait, what did he say? I missed it. It's gone. He said, now it's rumors, it's fake. So now I don't know how true, obviously, AT doesn't either, but it just seems so surreal. Like, I saw somebody out there talking conspiracies already, you know what I mean, about the fact that what happened last night and then today. But, it would be tough to kind of unravel and go backwards now and have to suck all this is back up. But I did get to grow up watching him. And obviously he was a Laker. So, I'm always going for my Pistons, Joe Dumars, Grant Hill, and the rest of them. But it's tough, man. And I just, it really hit home, man, with the loss of the kids. And I was telling people today on the stream, Kobe seems like the type that if he knew something was bad was going to happen, he wasn't going to let his daughter know that. He was going to console her and everybody else on there to the end. And I just couldn't imagine, as a father myself, being in that situation. And And I'm starting to get emotional now, man, because it really puts everything in life in perspective. You know what I'm saying? And it just so surreal right now, man.
Absolutely, man.
Like you don't even really know what to say. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
You don't know
exactly.
what to say. And I was talking to Travis about bringing in, phone calls so that people can, tell us how they feel and stuff like that. But it's really no words, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still don't even want to believe this, man. That's how you know death is not a natural thing, because it takes the mind a little while to wrap your head around. Wait, what just happened? What's going on? You know what I mean? So, but praying for him and his family. His daughter has skills too. I don't know if y'all have seen her, man, but her dream was to play in the NBA, and she was coming up, man. She definitely had the skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Spotlight.
Spotlight. You want you want to call in? He want to call in, man. So Drew, man, bro. Okay, so Drew, what, you 22 now, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell us, like, just kind of when you came around to, like Kobe, what was like if you have it, like your first memory of the Mamba, man, the Black Mamba?
Um, my very first memory. I mean, I was still pretty young in the '04 days, but I remember sitting down and watching those finals. And even though we won in 5 games, Kobe Bryant was still playing really, really well. And no matter how down they got, he was always shooting the ball and trying to will his team back. And I was like, I'm really digging this guy. And from there, I just kind of like grew torn. I started playing the old 2Ks before they really, really got popular. I think even NBA Live was more of a factor than 2K was back in the day. And just playing with him on 2K, watching him every week is on TNT and ESPN after really finding out who he was after that '04 finals. You just learn to appreciate it. Then I got to really sit down and watch them when they played the Celtics in the finals. They played twice. Boston won one, and LA won one. And then the big talk was LeBron came into the league, and then that we were finally going to get a LeBron versus Kobe matchup in the finals, and LeBron lost to the Magic in the conference finals. So we never really got that dream matchup. But the big standpoint was just really watched them for 5 games in the '04 finals, and even though, like I said, they lost 4 games, he really stuck out to me because you could just tell he really wanted it to be his team. It was really Shaq was starting to decline, let himself go, and Kobe really wanted the leadership role to be the leader of the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was happy to see Shaq, man. Shaq and Kobe had their differences or whatever. And I was glad to see that they still managed to get through and have a relationship at the end of the day, man. Shaq with his rap career and everything like that. But you know what I think I'm most impressed is the amount of people that he was able to touch. And like Drew was saying earlier, outside of basketball, and stuff like that. And it's sad, man, to see just how you wake up one day and you never know what's in front of you. You know what I mean? And it's tough, man. Like it's really hard to even talk about it. It really is, man. Like it took me 30 minutes to even be like, bruh, is this really happening? You know what I'm saying? It took TMZ. And another thing too, man, like whose job is it at TMZ Sports? TMZ, I can't stand them. I've never liked them, bro. And now I know it's their job to do that stuff, but to be in front, like whose job was it to be there? You know what I mean? Like how they was the first people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they reported this, and I'm just like, they was already disgusting to me, man. But now it's just a whole nother level of disdain for them, for that whole crew, man. I just can't stand TMZ at all, bro.
yeah, yeah. That is crazy. Um, you know, and like they told Amari Stoudemire right after he just got done playing basketball over across seas, and he broke down literally and started crying, and some reporter was trying to get a post game interview with him. Like, how are you going to just tell him that a person that he actually went to battle with, or against, just passed away, and now you want to interview? It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, as media,
Hmm.
you guys, like, yeah, we want the stories and this, that, the other, but then in the same token, it's just like, let the man, have a moment to kind of gather his thoughts. Like, let him go to the locker room and and then after the locker room, maybe you can get an interview. But telling him and then literally like 30 seconds later, throw a microphone in his face, like, how do you feel?
Yeah.
What do you think? How I feel? Like, come on.
The worst one was LeBron was on the Lakers team plane, and I don't know where this dude was at, but it looked like he was on top of the plane recording with a potato
I saw.
of just recording LeBron. When LeBron finds out, like, everyone deals with this in different ways. Like, no one takes death the same way. Some people can accept it right away, and for others it takes people a long time to kind of cope with this. And him and LeBron were close friends.
Mhm.
They kind of had the same relationship that MJ and Kobe had, where they was kind of passing the torch, where Kobe was the next thing. Well, when Kobe got older, he passed it to LeBron. They respected each other. They were friends. You don't do that. Like, I don't like it when, for example, the Spurs and the San Antonio and the Raptors played today. They're showing everyone on the bench crying. Like, I don't personally like that. Like, give those players like their personal space, and don't, like, we all know everyone's going to be sad. I don't personally like it when they show people in a form of weakness where they don't have a choice. And like you said, asking them after a game. They did that last year to LeBron when they found out that Greg Popovich's wife died. Right
Yeah.
after the game, he didn't even know. The reporter told him right there and says, "How do you feel about that?" Like, it is just super disrespectful for me for them to do that to those players.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah,
know,
that's how it is. That's how it is, man. It's like it's somebody's job to do that, which I just find despicable, man. I really do, and I just it's I'm glad I got to see Kobe, and I think another hard part about this too, guys, is how you have so many legends that came before him that have outlived him, and let's not take anything away from the other seven people that passed away as well, and the names and things like that are coming out slowly. But it just, I just, it's tough, man, because like I said, we are right at the same age. I was born in 1979, and I think he's a solid year plus older than me. And when stuff hit you, I didn't have the privilege to have as many children as him, but it's tough, man, because as a dad, and Travis, I know you can understand, and people in the chat, as a dad, the sacrifices that you're willing to make, you know what I'm saying, for your kids,
yep.
and then to the other father who was on there, and the other mother, and the other possible parents that we don't know yet, to be in that situation is just tough, man. And I think the biggest thing we can take from all this is you really never know what the day holds, man. And we're talking about Kobe Bryant because he was a legend. You know what I'm saying? A legend who was outlived by people like Jordan and things like that. And it's different when somebody's taken from you as opposed to when it's kind of the natural progression of old age. Of Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul, it's going to be sad. But when somebody kind of goes before their time, so to speak, it's tough. And you kind of got to sit back and be like, what just happened? Because I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be checking to make sure this is real. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Because it doesn't seem like it to me.
Yeah. It like the way that this whole thing, like, I woke up like, okay, today's the Pro Bowl, this, that, and then all of a sudden, before we even get to the Pro Bowls, like, boom, breaking news: Kobe Bryant passed away. Like, what in the world just happened? You know, like you said, your mind kind of needs that time to like comprehend all the information, and it's just like, wow, what just happened? You know, you're just kind of like in a state of shock.
Yeah.
You know, and I know my biggest memory was when Kobe Bryant made his first All Star game, and Michael Jordan was playing with the Wizards, and they were kind of communicating, talking trash back and forth, but being respectful enough to where he respected Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan was kind of passing the torch along to Kobe Bryant. Where like Drew was saying, then Kobe Bryant kind of passed the torch to LeBron. And it was just something. It was special, you know, and to see a legend like that pass, it's just man. And like you said, no disrespect to anybody that was lost. Rest in peace to those individuals, and prayers up to their families and loved ones and things like that. You know, because you never want to lose anybody.
Yeah.
But it's the one thing that we can all never hide from. Death will claim each and every single one of us one day. We just don't know what day that will be. That's why, if you follow everything King, he always says, hug your loved ones. Because you never know. Life is short. Uh, and, I was in a situation, a couple years back, uh, where I could have actually lost my wife and my daughter. Uh, so it kind of really hit close to home on that front, where it's just like, man, I kind of feel where Kobe's wife is feeling kind of right now, because I know when I found out my wife and my daughter were in a bad accident, first thing in my head was like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing, Drew and Trav. We it's like, the other surviving members, man. He has, and I didn't even realize he's got a 17-year-old daughter. So it's like, wow. So he's got a 17-year-old, then the 13-year-old, and he was a pretty new father. I forgot how old his youngest he is, but all girls, and it was no problem with them girls carrying it. Like, the torch was going to be carried regardless, and just how the wife must feel. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't personally know Kobe. We just know what he did for the game of basketball and things like that. But to personally know, this man, and it I just can't even imagine. You know what I'm saying? It like I said, man, it's really no words. It's really no words, man.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, Trav, if you were talking about bringing some stuff in, possibly.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't fix that problem with the what I was texting you on Voxer. Do you think you could be able to bring in some of the audio?
Yeah, but remember, if the source is not there, then you and Drew won't be able to hear it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that means we can't do phone calls either.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. So, because y'all two won't be able to hear it. You have to like play it back and stuff like that. But it's a tough day, Drew. Tough day, man. And I know you wish you could go live and stuff and talk about it, man, and things like that. But I really don't know, man. Like I said, I want to wake up tomorrow and somebody was just playing a joke, and then we all find them and hunt them down and.
I had to check my phone like 5 times to make sure it wasn't April 1st or something, man. Because
yeah.
I was playing 2K with my friends, and he was just like, Kobe died in a helicopter crash. I'm like, what? That doesn't even sound like a true story. And I was like, don't you think if that actually happened, it'd be everywhere? So after the game was over, I opened up Twitter and it was everywhere. So it's just crazy. I still don't believe it. It just doesn't seem real, like you said. It don't.
Yeah, my wife she's sitting on the couch and I'm getting ready for the stream, and she literally sounded like she was sucking in all the air in the room. And I said, what is going on? And she said, Kobe Bryant died. I'm like, first thing I said is the typical response, you lying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You lied. So then I go, and it's one place. It's TMZ Sports. And I'm like, nah, we've seen this before. We've seen this happen with like the hoax, and all the people come in and be like, I'm straight, I'm alive. And then about 5, I kept just checking. My phone was in my hand. I'm like, okay, now it's on some random sports channel, like, on Google. And then boom, 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 it started popping up. And then when I saw it on ESPN right before the Pro Bowl started, I was just like, okay, now it's starting to sink in that this is the possibility. And then they're cutting to all these people, and and what's tonight, guys? The Grammys? What is it? Is it the What's tonight?
Yeah,
Some
it's the Grammys, I
yeah,
think.
people, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, like you said, Drew, they just and Travis, they dropping stuff like. So, how do you feel? Like Lisa Salters was like, I know you heard the news, and they're asking people at the Grammys, and to me, guys, and I know Drew. Man, let me see. Yeah, Drew, you was around, man. I think, yeah, you was around. You was when Aaliyah passed, man. I was talking to Travis and the people in the chat. That's what this feels like to me. This feels like when the same way that I felt when Aaliyah passed, bro. It was like a week before September 11th, and it was just so real, so unreal that I didn't want to believe it. And it took, days and days and hours of coverage to really be like, okay, this is real. So that's what this feels like to me, man. It's gonna take me a minute. I'm like, I've seen two icons along with Biggie, Pac, and all these other people. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm sick of this, man. Like, it's tough for me. I'm getting older, and this stuff is becoming harder to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the whole Aaliyah situation. Especially since she passed away in a crash.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I was just like, I still remember that day that news broke. I was just like, what?
yeah,
I
yeah.
was a little kid, but I knew my music.
Mm,
Oh, well, okay,
and
thanks, Trav. You making me feel super old now, bro. Super.
I mean, we are eight years apart, but
Man, okay. I mean, but did you have to use little kid though, bro? You could have said
I
like
mean,
pre.
okay, I was a
You could
preteen.
have said pre. Yeah. Hey, it's all right. I'm embracing the old age though, man. He's popping and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not mad, man. Yeah, but it does feel a lot like Aaliyah. And then we had the biggest tragedy I've ever seen being alive a week later or like 3 weeks later. So, but we're gonna find out more about this. And to those other people, like you said, Rick Fox, like, don't you think he would be like, nobody said Rick Fox is on the plane, you know what I mean, like, or on a helicopter? Don't you
Yeah,
think we?
yeah. Like I've been hearing Rick Fox was on the plane and things like that, but then like I'm trying to search it up because obviously being formerly in the DSA, we definitely do our research, and so any little thing, I'm like, hold up, let me research that. Even when the whole Kobe Bryant, 2K plays was the first one to actually really break it to me, and he was like, hey, is this true? And I'm like, instantly, my whole mind was like, okay, let me go do my research because I don't want to say yes or no, and I don't know nothing about it. Like I just kind of woke up, kind of thing, and and I actually did the research, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it is legitimately true.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Joseph says, does anybody know what caused the accident? I've heard, what I heard was a fire, but I don't know if that's Travis. I think you were saying something, or somebody in my chat was saying something different earlier today. It was a fire on board, so I don't know what that was all about.
real quick, I don't mean to interrupt,
Yeah.
but TMZ, I googled it on Twitter, so I guess I twittered it. I don't. That just sounds weird. But TMZ posted on Twitter that Rick Fox attorney confirms a former Laker was not among those on board the helicopter.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm like, how you just gonna leave Rick Fox? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm glad that, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's tough, man. It's like you said, it's so okay. El Kai says foggy conditions, so it was another. See that? I don't know, man. That hurts even more to me, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. Like when I was, what do you call it? Because I was on Twitter as well, and they had if you hit uh, the magnifying glass, it kind of brings you up like with the whole up to date kind of things and news and stuff like that. Well, the whole thing was on, I think it was ABC, and people were there at the crash site, and they were saying that they were hearing like a helicopter flying low, and then all they hear was like a crash, and then or like a noise that was like not normal, but then they see the plane crash.
Mm.
Uh, so something happened, and then like the plane crashed. But that like that is I don't see like I don't know. That's why I've always said like if my four wheels can't get me somewhere, I'm gonna pass.
You sound like my wife, man. My wife was like that, bro. Like, get them. Like, you can't. It, you know, it,
I mean, I've flown many times, but it's just like you know, more and more you hear like planes and helicopters and things like that going down. It's just like you know what? Maybe it's time just to drive.
well, see, you know what, guys? It's just this is an unfortunate accident. You know what I'm saying? That's really all it is, and it claimed the lives of 9 people. And but it's just amazing. Like I said, guys, the biggest thing for me, and since I'm the oldest one here, is like Greg was saying in the chat, like mortality is real, but Kobe Bryant has quite the legacy
Oh yeah.
that he didn't get to see him in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't get to see all of that. I can't believe it's already been almost 4 years since he hung it up. Like it would have been 4 years this year.
Yeah.
That it's like wow, that's how fast time has been going since he's been and how active he's been. And you know what I'm saying? So, go ahead, Trav. I'm sorry.
And I know, like, kind of like piggybacking off of what you're saying, it's like, if I knew if Kobe would have got that call to get into the Hall of Fame, which he definitely is gonna be, it's just a matter of time. Probably now it's gonna get accelerated because he did pass away, and it's sad to say, but a lot of that happens is person kind of goes through a little funk the first few rounds, and then they pass away. Oh, now we have to get him on. I don't agree with that method. I think if they deserve it, it doesn't matter if it's ballot 1, 2, or 3. They should, they should get in, even if it's a ginormous class. Like they're gonna get in. Like come on, just put them in. And I knew Kobe was gonna come out with an epic speech. You know, in his whole we have guys like Ray Lewis, guys like that that embodies like public speaking. Kobe is one of those elite athletes that when he talks, the room listens. You know, and hopefully this year he can get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's been due. I don't know if it's he has to wait a few years, but regardless of if he does or not, he should be in. I mean, the dude was third all time for the longest, and now he's kind of ripped from all of our hearts. You know.
Yeah, like I said, guys, this is gonna resonate with me for a while, and I just like, yeah, I'm not 6'6", but looking at Kobe is like I was hit hard, man. Like I am going to sleep. Well, I don't know because my mind is real heavy, but I cried so much, man. Greg was like, "Yo," he said, "Your eyes are puffy. Like they look like somebody punched me in both my eyes, man, and they were swelling up, like, and they were red for a while." And I went upstairs and hugged my wife and hugged my son, and it's just gonna resonate, man, because as you get older, man, you start dealing with mortality. You really do, and I just appreciate the fact that I got to see Kobe and the legacy that he's gonna leave, not only on the court, dropping 81 and 60, and I'm glad we got our win. What I'm saying, in '04. But just to have that, man, it really hits for me, man. When somebody passes that's right around the same age as you, it really gets you kind of like, man, you know what I'm saying? So, and we both had the hairline struggles as well. So, but Kobe, man, what I'm saying, it's tough, bro. It is tough, man. That's all I can say is just hold your family, man. Hug everybody. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Drew, you already know this. Trav, you know this too, man. I'm all in love mode. You can take me back to Woodstock. I'm all love, man. Life is too short. I love everybody, man. I'm trying to make friends with everybody, make amends with everybody, and just realize that life is too short, man. It can literally be taken away from you at any second. So, but condolences, man, to everybody involved.
Absolutely. You know, and for a person that actually has been classified as dead, you know, EMS pronounced me dead. It was back in 2000. I want to say 12 or 13, somewhere around that ballpark, maybe 14. Uh, you know, I never want to just being able to see like myself lying there and being able to see like everybody kind of like freaking out and working their tails off to try to revive me. Never want to see that, you know. But I know eventually I'm going to have to one last time, and that's the very last time before, you know, I go off into the sunset. And you know, it definitely hits close to home.
Yeah.
Definitely hits close to home. Uh, you know, yeah, he's 41, I'm 32, but in the same token, it's like, you know, that's still like my era, my, you know, like I remember the 96 draft. I remember, you know, that whole time frame, you know. I remember what the newspapers were saying about, oh, this kid from Lower Merion High School is the next best thing, and can he beat Michael Jordan? And you know, there was just so much hype and things like that. And today, here on, you know, January 26, 2020, we're talking about, you know, a 41-year-old and his 13-year-old daughter,
Mm.
and you know, seven other people passing away, and it's sad, you know, like innocent kids gone. You know, I can't wrap my mind around that. Like, I can wrap my mind around death. I can wrap my mind around, you know, Kobe Bryant passing away. But when you bring in the kids, that's, you know, they got their whole life ahead of them, and it's gone. You know,
Yeah.
that's the part where I can't wrap my mind around.
But guys, he was he you know he was taken in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, so that I think that's the toughest part of this whole thing is, people like to use the words before your time, and yeah, man, like I said, guys, I really can't really talk about it too much more because I every time I start talking about it, I get emotional, man. I don't know if it's the mirror of ages or the kids or just how you're doing something one day and then the next day you're not. And I'm Travis, I almost fell asleep, man. Drew, I almost fell asleep, bro. Like I because I had cried so much that I was physically tired. And after this, I just hope I can sleep because stuff weighs on my mind super heavy. And this is gonna be on there, man. Like this is one of them. I can't just like I was in 11th grade when Pac and Biggie when that happened to them. And I remember where I was at exactly when that happened. Like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
It was, but this was before social media. This is before the internet was where it was. So you literally had to hear it from somebody else's mouth. Like that's how and then you had to like what? You had to get in front of a TV to
Yep.
confirm this was
Yep.
true. Saying so
I remember the struggles.
we getting bombarded. We got Twitter, we got YouTube, we got MSN, we got all these things, and my mind is like literally overloaded right now, man. It's really overloaded, man. And it's gonna be tough, man. We got the Super Bowl coming up, and I don't know like how to get in the mindset to that either. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah, it's tough. Like I said, guys, I really don't know what else to say, man. I'm fried.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after I left your stream with the Pro Bowl, I literally was like, you know, I went up to my wife, my daughter, and was just like, you know what, let's hang out for a little bit. You know, because well, I already knew that we are gonna get on here and you know, and do the show, but I was just like, you know, I've been away, you know, a lot, kind of. Even though I've been home, I've been away. doing all the streams and at work and this, that, the other, that I haven't really had time. And then you know for all this to happen, it's just like like I need to start making some time too for real life as well. Um,
Absolutely.
because you truly never know what is going to happen. That's why I always say, I always tell everybody, chin up, head down, keep grinding. But in the same token, it's like, you know, also, live every day like it's your last. So, if you do pass away tonight, how are people going to remember you? Are they going to say, oh, well, he was never there, he was this, he was that? Or are they going to say, you know what? He just strapped his boots up and said, let's go. Like, he's that all in person. Like, no matter what, it's like, I could definitely count on this person, or, and talk high praises and things like that, So it's like, you know, every person, whether we're famous or we're not, has a legacy to leave. How do you want to be remembered? That's the whole thing that like has been really weighing on my mind since this news really came about. And it's just like, you know, that's you know 9 years away. You know, if I pass away in 9 years, how do people want? Within the next 10 years, how are people going to remember me by? And I don't want to be known as that you know person that is all this and all of that. I want to be remembered in good praises. I mean, we all do. Uh, but it's really been really weighing on my mind about like those little things in life.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I know Drew. I know Drew. You kind of got. I kind of got you by half, bro. But I know you. It's the legacy that Kobe left, like you said, the impact and where you came in and things like that. But I think the most important thing is like what Travis was saying, is how he was able to touch people he didn't even know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Mm-hmm.
is by not just his example on the court, but his example off the court. And you know, like I said, man, it's funny because we got kind of like three ages. We got Drew, we got Trav, and we got me, and we all pretty much the same space apart. And we all, like Drew said earlier, we all handle death differently. And I'm like super mortal looking right now, man. Like you would have thought I knew Kobe. Like I hung out with him, because when I heard it, I just was like, I can't believe this. I can't, because I've always looked at myself as like, wow, me and Kobe the same age. Look what he's done with his life and blah blah blah. Just to watch and see him grow up and stuff like that, and what he's done. So it's tough for me. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I actually can't talk about it no more. So I'm gonna slip out, if that's okay, Travis and Drew, because I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm emotionally distraught. You know what I mean? My eyeballs hurt, and I just it's weighing on me, man. It's so, like I said, bro. Like if I start talking about it, I'm gonna get emotional. Like you would have thought I knew Kobe. You know what I'm saying? That's how close to home this hit. And I don't know if it's his kids, it's the other children that was on there, being a dad going through the struggles that I'm going through, being a husband, and then thinking about the people that he left behind. And it's just like, I didn't know Kobe, but I feel like I did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to fall back from this, guys, because I can't even deal with it. Seriously. So Travis, I'm a remove myself. Drew, man, appreciate you being on here.
Oh, thanks for having me come on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good to have you on, man. And but Trav, I'm gonna have to dip, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Man, that is some crazy stuff. I still can't wrap my mind around it. I mean, it's like Drew. We just seen him balling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and for us to, you know, have it essentially taken away. I mean, obviously it was taken away when he retired, but you know, like now more so, like you know, because you know how like when people get older, they have like basketball camps and things like that, and you know they have the guest appearance. Like I remember going to Joe Dumars Field House. Joe Dumars would pop in after the end of the 8 week course or the 16 week course or whatever it was, and gave you your badge.
Right.
Uh, you know, and you know, like now the people in LA or you know people in Philly, wherever he does all of his, you know, his most of his work at, they don't get to experience that, and it's just like, man, like the world got like it was ripped away from him, and that's the hardest part for me. You know, it's like everybody, like you were saying, everybody that he's touched, and the people that he could have touched, you know,
The I think the saddest part in all this is the passing of his daughter because
absolutely,
Kobe, Kobe he did everything he wanted to do in his NBA career. Like I said, everything he was focusing on was non-basketball related, except for his daughter. She was a baller, man. I mean, look, if you guys want to go look at some of her highlights, she was only 13, and she's hitting fadeaways like Kobe was on these kids. And it's hard to speculate because he's only 13, but when your father's Kobe,
yeah,
you get courtside seats to all the games, and he's giving you legit film breakdown live. I mean, I think she could have been the first female to ever play in the National Basketball Association, and we will never know now.
yeah,
We'll absolutely never know. I think that's the saddest part because people don't see it, but Kobe was a good dad. I mean, he put his kids in front of everything, and that was part of the reason. Besides the Achilles injury and being 40 years old or whatever it was that he retired, is he wanted to spend time with his family and his wife and his kids and experience that side of life. And it's just sad we're never going to see what she was actually capable of becoming at this point.
yeah. You know, and you know, for me to have you know a daughter too, like that really today's news really bothered me. You know, I could deal with the whole, like I said, like I could deal with the whole death situation. Like I've seen a lot of death in my life. It sucks, but I have seen a lot of death. Uh, you know, from my, you know, from grandparents, parent, you know, and things like that. Like I've seen a lot of death, and I never want to go through those situations. I know I have to still because obviously I still have friends and family and loved ones, you know, and things like that. But you know, for for us to hear that, you know, a 13-year old, you know, was on a plane and other children were on that plane, you know, and they, you know, lost their life today. That's the hardest part because
Hmm.
you know, and like you were saying, like, you know, she had so much potential as well, you know, on the basketball court. She could have done even the NBA and WNBA and led both of them and be the first female to be on dual Hall of Fames.
Hmm.
You know, like, but we'll never know now because obviously she's taken it from us. You know, it's sad. It's man.
You know, this has probably been one of the best NBA seasons in a long time.
It has.
And since the beginning of the new year, we've lost two of the biggest influencers in the game of basketball in the last 20 years or so. David Stern goes back further, but already lost David Stern and Kobe this year.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't talk about David Stern enough. I mean, the way he changed the game. I mean, there would be no Kobe Bryant if there was no David Stern. There, I mean, there might
He
not be an NBA without him.
he
And,
literally saved the NBA back in
hmm
19 what year did Patrick Ewing come out? Was that not 84, 83?
I can fact check it real quick.
while you're doing that, uh, you know, that that draft, he literally had to rig that draft to for New York to get Patrick Ewing, to where Boston had Bird, Lakers had Magic, Chicago had Michael Jordan, and New York needed somebody, and they got Patrick Ewing, and that literally saved the NBA because prior to that, the NBA was talking about cocaine and bankruptcy. So David Stern, freshly into the new commissioner role, had to think of something quick to save the NBA, and he put Patrick Ewing onto the Knicks, and it literally helped save the NBA. That's why I always talk about like the four teams that has to really do good for the NBA to really be at an all time high, and that's the Lakers, the Celtics, uh, uh, the Knicks, and was the Chicago Bulls, but now I mean obviously it would be that that wild card team now, in today's NBA. But when those legitimate three are at an all time high, that NBA is making a lot of money, more so than they would have, even more so than they are right now.
Hmm.
Uh, and then obviously that there would be no talks of bankruptcies or none of that. Um, but your big markets have to be your big market. That's why you don't see Boston and Los Angeles be horrible for long. Those two teams, especially, you got to get it right with those two because those are your money makers. Obviously, they have combined the most championships at the entire NBA. Uh, what's it? Celtics was 17 and Lakers was 16.
Something
Uh,
like that.
yeah, so I mean, combined, that's what 30, 32, 33 championships. Like, you have to have those two at least be at their peak of their game. Obviously, you see that's why the Lakers have uh, LeBron and AD, uh, Kemba Walker now with the Celtics. Like, you got to have names on the teams in a team around those big names to win because the NBA is based off of really those two teams. They have the most history in the NBA, and they've put on some quite a good matchups as well. Uh, in the '60s, in the '70s, in the '80s, in the '90s, in the 2000s, you know, they've put on matches to where you could be like, wow, those are two of the greatest teams going head to head. Uh, Obviously we had to ruin it. No disrespect to Kobe and Shaq, but obviously we had to ruin that friendship up with the 5 game sweep. But you know, I call it a 5 game sweep because if Richard Hamilton didn't you know let his man go and let Kobe Bryant hit that three at the end of regulation, that game would have never went to overtime, and then history would have never went on for that day. It would have been a Pistons W, and on to the next game, which would be Game 3. Uh, and that was, in my opinion, the first super team really that was out there with, 4 Hall of Famers. You had Shaq, you had Kobe, you had yeah, they were in their decline with the glove as Gary Payton and the mailman Carl Malone. You know that was technically the first super team. So if people want to say, "Oh, LeBron killed the NBA with the super team," no, it dates back. Yeah, they were older and things like that. At that stage, yeah, they were journeymen, but they could still hold their own. Uh, they could get you 15, 20 points a night. And, with the Kobe and Shaq, they only needed really 15, 20 points. And so like, man, it's just so hard to see like Kobe's gone. Like, like you were saying, like, you know, back in high school, everybody was throwing papers in the trash can saying Kobe, Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was legitimately a thing. He's impacted even people that never even picked up a basketball. People that don't even know basketball knows Kobe Bryant. Even casual fans, and it's just like it's sad to see guys like him go, and then see David Stern, who's legitimately helped the NBA be where it is today. It's a sad situation.
It's gonna be a long one to really accept this because like it's just like he was just on TV yesterday.
Yeah,
He was just tweeting, and then I seen he texted Shaq's son this morning, Sharif, at like 8 o'clock, 2 hours before the helicopter crash or something. So I mean, it's all relatively recent. It's kind of what makes it the hardest thing to accept is that like we just seen him and LeBron together, and it's just going to be hard to accept because it doesn't feel real. Like I'm still kind of looking at Twitter every 5 minutes to see is this really happening right now? And it was just like more and more celebrities and athletes and just people all around the world are just sending their condolences. But it's just becoming more and more real every minute we're looking at this thing.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I look at like Bleacher Report and things like that, and you got um, Brian Shaw, former teammate, bawling his eyes out on NBA TV.
Hmm.
You have Doc Rivers. That was a hard one to watch. I don't know if you've seen that.
I did.
Man, that was hard to watch. Oh, you know,
And that goes right there to show you, man. He coached against Kobe in the finals. You would think that being Boston versus LA, you think they'd hate each other,
yeah,
but I mean, everyone respects Kobe, even if you're not a Kobe Bryant fan. Even if you think Michael Jordan's the GOAT or you think LeBron's the GOAT, everybody respects Kobe.
yeah,
I mean, no, you can say you hate Kobe, but at the end of the day, you have to respect this guy. He's just that damn good at basketball.
absolutely. Oh man, I just seen on Bleacher Report, Michael Jordan just put a statement out for Kobe Bryant. Um, it says, "I am in shock over the tragic news of Kobe and Gianna's passing. Words can't describe the pain I'm feeling. I loved Kobe. He was like a little brother to me. We used to talk often, and I will miss those conversations very much. He was a fierce competitor, one of the greats of the game, and a creative force. Kobe was also an amazing dad who loved his family deeply and took great pride in his daughter's love of the game of basketball. Yvette joins me in sending my deepest condolences to Vanessa, the Lakers organization, and basketball fans around the world." Man,
I mean, I don't know what else there's to say at this point. I mean, you got just some of the biggest names in the planet, however you want to word it, just in all of what happened, like the rest of us. It just goes to show you that even Michael Jordan and Kobe and all these guys we look up to and admire, they're still human at the end of the day. You know,
absolutely.
they're not all Hulk Hogan. They're not immortal. They're real human beings. They all have weaknesses. They all have flaws and stuff. And it's just when something like this happens, we're in shock of it because I mean, watching Kobe as a young one, I mean, there wasn't much you thought he couldn't do.
Yeah.
You thought he was the man, like he couldn't be stopped. So I mean, it's hard to see celebrities and athletes that we look up to growing up pass away. It's just hard to believe.
Yeah. You know, man. And it's just like, you kind of opened it, earlier today. Like, the one thing people are gonna remember Kobe Bryant by really is that Mamba mentality. I think you hit it right there on the nose. Like, nobody works that hard. Like, he was dead tired during a shoot around. Seen, I forgot who it was. I want to say it was oh man, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Who was it? They walked in and it was just before a playoff game. Seen him walk in and seen him, taking his shots, getting ready for the game later on the day, and worked even harder. Like, after he was just about ready to say, okay, I had enough shots, and I'm gonna take my shower and get ready, and get ready for tonight. He sees, I forgot who it was that walked in, you know, putting up shots, and really it got the other person to be like, oh shoot, this is how Kobe trains. I better work even harder, you know. And at the end of the day, they're like, okay, were you just trying to mess with me, or what's going on? Because if you work out like that every single day, there's something wrong with you. And he was like, "No, man, I just seen you come in, trying to work so hard." And I was just like, "Well, I'm gonna try to mess with you and work even harder." And both of them, kind of, end of the career kind of was just like, real recognized real, and both of them, will be in the Hall of Fame. Uh, I forgot who it was though. Uh, I want to say it might have been. No, I don't think it was Chris Webber. I know it was a bigger name, and oh, man, I cannot think of the person's name.
I wish I could help you, man. I wish I could. Anyway, what's the point?
It's just that Mamba mentality, really.
Yeah.
You know, he works so hard, and even people that is his opponents made them so much better. And like, they don't make people like Kobe. You thought that they broke the mold with Jordan. There came Kobe. And really, you know, you could kind of put LeBron in this situation where he's one of the hardest workers, this, that, the other. But it's just like, you see all the other antics kind of things. You know, Kobe really never did load management until it was super late in his career. He played all 82 games if he was healthy. You know,
Like I said this in my video today talking about it, is he's like the last player that we've seen in the league that was part of that tough guy generation.
yeah,
So I mean, like you're not gonna have the way people are brought up now another Kobe Bryant, because they're not bred like that anymore. They're all catered to
yeah.
and made softer and stuff like that. Like Kobe didn't back down from anybody. He accepted the challenge, embraced it, and fought to overcome. Like I said earlier in this stream, is he could have left L.A. When Shaq left, when they were bad, before they had Pau Gasol and Fisher, and really kind of rebuilt that
Hey,
team.
something?
He could have left.
Hey,
Go ahead.
the craziest part? Detroit had a done deal. If it wasn't for Jerry
Hmm.
Buss to talk to Kobe prior to them sending in that paperwork to the league office, the Detroit Pistons would have had Chauncey Billups, Kobe Bryant, Ben Wallace, and I believe Rasheed Wallace. Like,
Yeah.
good luck with that. you know, but Jerry Buss being Jerry Buss was like, do not send nothing out. Let me come back and let me talk to Kobe. You
You
know,
know, before we wrap this, I don't know how long you want to go to, but I gotta say this before I forget. Uh, I'm gonna remember Kobe the most by this statistic is he has, I think it's like 50 some points against us, but that is the lowest amount of points he scored on each individual team. His highest being 81 against Toronto. We held Kobe to 50 points, and that is his lowest, like, highest scoring game against any team, if that makes any sense. I don't
yeah,
know if I worded that the right way or not.
yeah. Like, I mean, that Pistons defense was fierce. You know, we never held. I mean, they couldn't really score over 70 points against us. You know, Shaq, Kobe, uh, Gary Payton, uh, and Karl Malone couldn't score 70 points. Like, if you would have told me that, I would have told you you're crazy.
Right.
But that was just our mentality. That was that, we're gonna hold you down, and you're not gonna say nothing about it because try to stop us. You go to the lane, you got to deal with Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace. You get Rasheed mad, he's gonna physically abuse you. No offense to Medvedenko, but
And you know, to add another step to Kobe's legacy about the Pistons is, I think that Kobe and Shaq made that team legit. You
oh
know,
yeah,
they don't talk about the '04 Pistons a lot, but they went to the conference finals 8 straight times.
yep,
LeBron's done that, but there hasn't been a team to do that. And I think that the '04 Pistons being able to beat Kobe and Shaq in 5 games really helped solidify to people outside of Detroit in Michigan in general that that team was legit.
yeah,
So I mean, I gotta give Kobe props, man. He's because without him, I don't think too many people would look at the '04 Pistons the same way.
yeah, absolutely. And that that says a lot about a person, especially. I mean, yeah, he still has ill feelings a little bit. Obviously, losing a championship to the Detroit Pistons. Uh, but in the same token, he still gave us our credit. And for him to do that, that says a lot about his character, his personality, and him as a human. You know, you know, he was a great person on and off that court. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to bring in that other stuff that happened. We're not going to go there today or ever really on my channel because a lot of people don't realize in the NBA or any professional sport, people are going to come at you left and right wanting a payday. If you don't say hi to them, they want to sue you and they can say whatever they want.
Hmm.
So we're not going to go into those topics. Uh, but on and off the court, outside of that, really that one thing, have you really heard anything bad about Kobe Bryant?
Not much.
Because he held himself to a high standard. And that's the thing that me as a former basketball player, I can look up to and be like, I've seen the Michael Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, the Kobe Bryant's, and even LeBron. You don't really see him outside of crying for the ball and stuff like that. Uh, you know, really get himself into off the field or off the court situations, that are unnecessary. His off the court situations is, hey, let's build a school. Let's, give back to the communities and things like that, which, I can respect the heck out of that. Uh, and that's things that, you want to see as, a fan of the game, is guys that hold themselves to high standards that, yeah, I'm the best in the game, but I can also be the best, off the court. And he definitely balanced that, you know, with true class and honor. So shout out to Kobe.
Yes, sir.
But man, Mamba mentality. That's man. And the one thing I do respect about Kobe, and I think this would be like my last thing is, you know, he never really wanted 23. He always kind of respected that number. He went from 8, and he could have switched it to 23. But he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that type of guy.
Hmm.
Give me 24 because I'll be the next best thing since Jordan. Because everybody, when you see 23, they're going to know that's Michael Jordan.
Right.
So he was like, give me 24. You know, and he had both of them, both numbers retired. And he could possibly even go into I don't know how it works, but he could possibly go into the Hall of Fame twice with 8 and 24 because he both put up career numbers with 8 and 24. you
I don't
know,
know if I don't know if it works like that.
I don't know either. I would definitely have to do my research on that, but I mean that'd be kind of interesting because he both. I mean, 16,000, 17,000 on one, and 16, 17,000 on the other number. It's like that's incredible. You know,
Yeah, that's true. And, I mean, there's a reason he got two different jersey retirements for the same team without
right,
ever leaving.
right, right. So I mean, man, I just can't believe he's gone. Like, I grew up
It's
kind of
tough.
hating him. I grew up kind of hating him, obviously because that was our rival.
Right.
It's the Lakers. You go back to the 80s, with the bad boys. It was against really the Lakers and the Showtime Lakers. You know, you go to the 2004, it's the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. So obviously they're one of our bigger rivals outside of Boston, but like you still get that level of respect to them. Like they have 16 championships. You got to respect teams like that. Like like you're even though it's going off a sports subject, going to like the in football. Like yeah, the Green Bay Packers are our arch rivals or division rivals or this that the other. But in the same token, you kind of got to respect them due to all the championships. Like if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So going to
Oh, come on. You got to do the Ric Flair woo after that.
woo.
There we go. Okay. There we go.
you know, so it's like you got to go to LA. You got to go to Lambeau. You got to go to, the TD Garden. If you want to be called the best team on the planet, you got to go there and destroy them. You know, beat them convincingly. Don't just get there and just get by with a victory. Yeah, it comes up as a saying, but fans know like okay, you just went into the Staples Center going against the LeBron and Anthony Davis led team and destroyed them. You gonna get some respect. you know. In the same token, you go to say Lambeau with the Detroit Lions and you beat them convincingly like they did. Last would it be last year or would it be 2 years ago?
It's last year.
Okay, last year. When we went to Lambeau and busted them up 31-0. You went to Lambeau Field and busted them up 31-0. Yes, it was our sixth win. So it kind of had a devalue to it in a sense, but then in a sense, it's like you went to Lambeau Field and destroyed them 31-0. Like you shut them out in their stadium. So you can kind of build off of things like that.
Hmm.
Even as a player, you gain confidence. Like, hey, I just was here last year, and I had a career year. I busted them up 31-0. You know, so if you want to be the best, beat the best. Woo!
There we go. There we go. You're starting to get it, man.
you know, but man, rest in peace to Gianna Bryant and Kobe Bryant and the you know the seven other people that was on that plane. Rest easy, and condolences go out to the loved ones that lost them. In the basketball world, we never got to see Gianna really play. Um, you know, who knows? She could have went to UConn and with UConn, do UConn things, go undefeated, winning national titles. Uh, getting drafted within the top three pick. That's just UConn basketball, I guess. With Coach Gino Oriema and company, they do a great job over there. So, I mean, if my daughter, I know if she ever picks up a basketball, that's the college she's going. They just produce players,
Hmm.
But man, rest in peace to them. It's a hard day today. But
Yeah, it's tough, man. This will be a day we won't soon forget.
yeah, even though we want to forget, but it's going to be a day. You hit it right on the nose. It's a day that we probably will never forget. You know. But do you got any closing words, Drew?
Uh, I just I think the NBA has done a great job of handling this from different organizations. I know Trey Young wore number 8 to start the game in honor of Kobe. Both the Raptors and the Spurs both took 24-second shot clock violations in honor of Kobe. I think Trey Young did an 8-second half court violation in honor of Kobe. And I want to say there was another game playing, and they did the 24 shot clock thing. So I think just the support from all of his fans, players in the league, celebrities, even The Rock has poured out condolences and their love and support and prayers to all of it. So I think that Kobe's wife and the remaining daughters of his family can look at this and just realize how much he was loved by everybody from around the world, and can just reflect on what Kobe meant for the NBA and the world in general, and just realize how much of an impact that one person can have on this world. It's truly remarkable what humans can do.
Absolutely. But I do want to say this to everyone that's in the chat. If you're not subscribed to Detroit Drew, Drew, if you can, type in the chat, uh, real quick. Uh, Definitely subscribe to him and the members of the DSA. They put out great content. I was actually a former member of the DSA, and they put out great content. They work their tails off. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to Drew. Uh, there's Drew Noble, uh, uh, 313 JMO, Luke G, uh, CA3 Sports Talk, Micro Mike. Uh, who else is there?
No miss and the
Oh
big
yeah,
take.
Nomus in the Big Take. My apologies, Gnome. That's my boy right there, Gnome. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to those guys. Their links are in his descriptions. So definitely go do that. Subscribe to the TSMN Entertainment, MonStar Sports and Entertainment. They are actually live right now doing the Royal Rumble. And then subscribe to the Sports Movement Network. Me, the Gridiron Blitz, Amy Amor, Staple Sports. Uh, you know, because we're definitely gonna work our tails off as well. And subscribe to the rest of the Detroit community. We try to give you guys great content. Uh, there's Dosa Dion. There's Everything King. There's also Mondo Ray Moore. Uh, and there's so many of us.
You
But
can make a whole stream naming everybody if you really
yeah,
wanted to.
absolutely. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to all those great fellas and ladies. Uh, and with that being said, you know, life is short, people. Uh, you know, Cherish every moment. Be the best every moment. You know, have your legacy be something that people want to remember. But with that being said, this is Troxel Sports Talk and Detroit Drew, and we are out. Have a nice day. Peace.